Boston Bruins game day, game 5, with a chance to eliminate the Toronto Maple Leafs. We got a very, very big game tonight, and I'm expecting a few different moves from what we've seen today, at least so far, from the Boston Bruins. I will cover them here in this stream. Once again, probably be about an hour until the game starts. But there are lots of updates I want to talk about here, especially when the Bruins have the Maple Leafs on the brink of elimination. I'll start this one off here with Derek Forbort. Spoke about him in a video previous to last game. Might draw into the lineup tonight. A very interesting move if that is the case. I haven't seen many fans of that. Steve Smith, absolutely. The Bruins just got to play their game. They can't think about anything the Leafs are doing. That's one thing I actually have here too. I'll pull this up now that we're talking about it. Ty Anderson tweeted this out. The Bruins are going to plan as if Austin Matthews is going to play, as if it was a regular game, which is exactly what they needed to do. They're going to need to just play their game. They're not going to be able to get out of their system, out of their game. They're just going to have to play it as if everything was normal and everything was rocking and rolling, as it has so far in this series. Only really change for the Maple Leafs, I think, is possibly no Matthews and Joe Swall starting, which I don't have here. It was in the video I posted earlier. But that's going to be another change, which is going to be, I think, a decider for this game. It's going to be a really big, a big change, I guess, for the Bruins scenario here. Why Forbort? Yeah, I know. I'm really questioning the same thing, and I've seen so many people on Twitter say the exact same thing. He's on the power play lines there, as you can see by Bell Frazier, but I've seen a lot of people say they don't really want Derek Forbort in the lineup, and I understand that if you want to try and get him back in the lineup at some point this playoffs, probably this would be the game to do it, but in my mind, you'd want to shut down and eliminate the Leafs here in this game. Beantown Bruins, thank you. Appreciate the support on the channel. The channel's been insane since I started this. The growth has been astronomical. It's been absolutely crazy. The Bruins are going to have to just stick to their game, like we were talking about, Steve. It's going to be a big thing for that. But Montgomery still hasn't confirmed any line changes, really, as he has for this entire series. So I still will be keeping you guys updated with any changes that are or any lineup changes that we know of here before the game, and I'll pull them up on the screen and the stream when we actually figure out what they are. But it's probably going to be still around warm-ups until we actually find out what's going to happen. Forbort's a solid stay-at-home D-man. He is. But my only worry is that he hasn't played since, like, February, March, last I recall. And I don't know if this is just the time to get him back in the lineup right now with a chance to eliminate the Maple Leafs. Because, even though the Bruins are up 3-1, this series is not over. And we know that this Maple Leafs team can switch back to being the team that we know at any point. And I don't know if you want to risk a game putting in some guys where they really haven't played for a while, coming back from injury and stuff like that, and really risk what's going on. Thank you, Atomic Lizard. That's very, very nice of you. I appreciate that. The Bruins, though, it's going to be a tough game. Like I said, I'll probably be repeating this so much until the game actually starts, but it really is going to be a big thing. I had a question for you guys later, too, which really intrigued me when we finish about this game. It's not about this game here, but it's about an off-season move for a big move that could happen this season that we've probably seen his final game on his team last night. That might be a little hint for you guys, depending on who you might know, but not gonna lie, I'm nervous tonight's game because of last year. Beantown Bruins, that's fair. That's fair. I'll say that's fair. I'm very nervous as well for this game, but we have to take in the fact that this team recognizes that what happened last year could happen again. I think they're gonna not change their game, but change their mindset, knowing that this is still just the focus here tonight. It's a different team, but it's not the Florida Panthers, and they may play the Florida Panthers if they win this game. Well, they will play them if they win, I should say. And they're not going to think about that. That's what Montgomery said. He was asked the question, does the Panthers next round really bring any thought into it? And he just said, no, we're not focusing on that. We're focusing on this game here, which is something I like to see. That's what I wanted to see for this. Beantown Bruins, you're on. You got it. I'll post it here right now. This is from Bardown. Like, Steven Stamkos was, taking a quick look, maybe a last look on the bench from the Lightning when they got eliminated last night. But do you think he stays in Tampa, or do you think that he may be a Boston Bruin? I've seen some, they're not, I wouldn't say they're rumors or reports or anything, but they're just kind of jersey swaps with Stamkos in a Boston jersey, and I'll tell you what, it looks good. It looks good if it does come to fruition. But what do you think about that? What do you guys think about that? That's something that I wanted to just kind of bring up, in a live stream where we actually have people that can answer back right away. It would be crazy, but to me, I don't think it happens. I think he's a Lightning for life. He said he wanted to be. Everybody on that team says he looks like he should be, and he seems like he wants to be, but anything can happen. We know that. We know anything can happen in this league here, and nothing would surprise me at this point. Yeah. Atomic Lizard, he has been tough this season, I'll say. Uh, but he could. And I don't think it'll be a major impact if he does, but I think he has a high ceiling, but a very low floor. So like he could play good if he really has to, and if he's really on his game. But there's also games where he could be just horrible. Yeah, me too. I want to see him bounce back. The injuries, that sucked. We'll keep that on track. That those injuries did stink. Hopefully he'd be fine, but I really just don't see him in this scenario. Even now, if it's the Leafs that we've seen all series, there's a good chance he could, but I don't know if I like the risk. That's one thing I want to try to just flood out for this series at least. The Bruins are going to be a better team next season with cap space, money to spend. Yeah, no, it really is. I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's something around like 20 to 30 million. But then you also have to pay Swayman and a few other guys that you're going to want to re-sign that are going to take up a solid chunk of that. But still, if it comes down to it, it still could be around 10 to 15 million, which is plenty of money nowadays, especially with the cap going up. People probably going to be wanting a slight bit more or breach deals and whatnot. There's infinite opportunities that we will talk about here over the summer, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see what they do with that money, apart from, signing Swayman and 24 mil. Okay, yeah, so a lot of money, like a very, very solid chunk of money. Even if you do, let's just say, re-sign DeBrusk, re-sign Swayman, those two alone probably only might be 10 to 12 million. So you have another 12 million 14 million to spend on free agency, which could be excellent in this Bruins system they have now, especially with what they're rocking with. I feel good about that. Okay, let me see. Do we have any? No updates as of yet. For those who like baseball, Mike Trout is getting knee surgery, so that kind of sucks. But not really on topic what we're talking about here, but just seen that there when I looked on Twitter. Yeah, but back to the Bruins. It's going to be a big game. It's going to be a really, really big game. I'm nervous. If you can't tell, I'm nervous again. But I think that if they just play their game, if they play simple, yeah, and like you said, with the younger players they have, the rookies, the guys in the AHL and whatnot, this team really has a lot of opportunity. Some trades can be made, and there's going to be a lot of things that they can do here in this offseason to make this team even better than what it has been the past 2 years. Any rumors on who he might replace forward? If so, I can have a look. I think it was Shattenkirk. That would be my. I think that's what it was. If it was, if you're talking about the forward replacement, I think it was Shattenkirk for this game here. We have no goalie confirmation either here in this game. I've seen some rumors saying it might be Ullmark. However, I am not positive on that. That's one thing though. I'm totally fine with Ullmark too. I really don't care who's in net. Swayman, I think, would be the better option, but at this point right now, forward, I think it was Shattenkirk they're taking him out for. That is if he suits up as well. That's what they were doing in practice, and who he's taken out for in practice, but if that comes to, or if he becomes put in the game, I should say, it will be Shattenkirk. But for that right now, if he does come in, I don't know. I hope not, but I'm okay with it if he does as well. This would be the game to do it. But after that, if it don't work, he got to come out. But as for Ullmark too, like I was saying, I'm okay with if he starts. I think either of these guys really could take this team to where they want to go. It was just that Jeremy Swayman was the better goal against the Maple Leafs, and just say they move on. Ullmark is the better goal against Florida. I think they could run with Ullmark. The rotation is definitely good, but I don't think they need to force it. And if they force it, I think it could be an issue. Which is, I guess, what they kind of seen before Game 3 when Ullmark lost. Now, Ullmark was the best player on the ice for the Bruins in that game, but they knew that Swayman was in the Maple Leafs' head, and they really couldn't back away from that. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it should be Swayman for this remainder of the series, unless anything happens. You know, they've had a 2-day break here. Swayman is the better goal against the Maple Leafs. That is without question. And if he's available, if he's fine, if he wants to go, which is seeming like he wants to, from the interview he said he wants to play every game, but he recognized that it's not his choice, and Ullmark also wants to play every game, but I agree with you. It got to be Swayman here. Especially if they don't want to get any more nerves than they already have and going to a Game 6 in Toronto, and that's really not what you want. Even though they did win both games in Toronto, still, that's not the best building to play in as the away team, and that's one that is definitely scary. If it does come down to a Game 6 and then 7, I don't know. Is Brazo in? I don't believe so. Now, he was supposed to be an option. I can have a look for you. He was an option. I don't know if he will be suiting up this game, though. Yeah, he's returned to practice. He's an option to play in this game. But I don't know if he is, because we don't have the lineup yet. So when we get the lineup, I'll show you guys. I'll put it up on screen as I normally do, and then that's when we could fully see what the lineup is. But right now, I will say no. But I think he'll be available, which is a good thing if they need to make any changes, any injuries, because we really want him back in the lineup. He's a big piece, a really, really big piece of this lineup, and I'm very happy to say that his growth for this team and his movement into an NHL situation, I just love that whole story, the situation, the scenario. I really like that. And he played on my hometown team, too, Newfoundland Growlers, a couple years ago, which was really cool to see. And I could see then that he had potential to be on an NHL team. However, it wasn't the Maple Leaf system, so you know where that goes for most of the players. So yeah, okay. I will pull up this as well that I had for something the other day in a video. This is what Sixty Hero, who was on Tim and Sid breakfast television now, I think, in Toronto. I don't know. He says, I can name 10 people, at least both on and off the ice, that should not be on the Maple Leafs next season. Sheldon Keefe was near the top of the list. These post-game comments last night on their own are a fireable offense, and that's when he was talking about, Brad Marchand just flopping everywhere and whatever he was saying. He's a horrible coach. I just want to say that again, but, you know, we've spoken about it enough here, and I even did in today's video, so make sure to check that out after the stream. Don't do it after the stream, do it during the intermissions, because we want to watch this game. We gotta get going. Matthews is out, right? As far as I know, he's close to being out. Like, no, he's not confirmed out, but as they were saying for, like, Nylander, all signs are pointing to him being out. So, if that is the case, that would be very, very big for the Bruins. And to me, that really, if that is the scenario, you need to put every player that the Bruins have had in this series in, just to get that win and get it, out of the series without having any injuries, anything like that. We know this team gets chippy. They want to fight. Well, they won't fight. They're weak, but they'll want to get into your head and try and get you to take penalties and take injuries. You know what? Whatever. But yeah, I want to win this game. If Matthews is out, I really want this lineup to be as packed as it can be. I feel like we have to re-sign Jake DeBrusk and probably get him for a decent price since he didn't have a great regular season. I agree, Will Ashwood. I agree. Jake DeBrusk, I think, is a real big part of this team. Although, like you said, not a great regular season. He's a playoff guy. We've seen it in this playoff so far. We've seen it in previous playoffs. And if he can just get that game into the regular season like he has previously, I think that would be an excellent contract, because he's not going to get a lot of money compared to what he could have been if he was a regular season performer as well. But that's what I really am for, is Jake DeBrusk getting re-signed here. And this playoffs really shows it for him himself that he deserves to get a contract extension and another shot with the Bruins. At least Shattenkirk with a replacing, he's only somewhat questionable D-man. Lowery too, I guess. They both have very familiar strengths and weaknesses, but last two games Lowery's been better. I agree. Shattenkirk right now is the one that, if anybody was going to come out, it would have to be him. I really like Wotherspoon's game. Lowery's game, like you said, been very, very good the last few games. Other than that, everything's been working out fine. Sucks to have Andrew peak out, but he could be back if the Bruins continue with this playoff run. He could be back sooner than expected, so hopefully that is the case in what we're seeing here. This is an interesting one here. I'll freeze here in a second. I'm taking a screenshot. Hold on. But I'm gonna put this on the stream as well, just to show you this, because this is a pretty interesting screenshot. From the score bet. Sorry, the Leafs are surprisingly good without Austin Matthews in the lineup. They're underdogs, but they're 35-19-2. Now, that should make sense because this team is still really good without Matthews in the lineup. You know, Marner, Tavares, Nylander, Morgan Rielly, those guys should realistically be able to win as many games, if not more, even with Matthews out of the lineup. But this is an interesting one. So if they're saying this, if they're saying that Matthews out of the lineup, maybe that's a confirmation. I can't guarantee anything because I don't know. Thank you. I do appreciate that. It'll be a very interesting thing to see here. What happens with this roster? You know, I don't know anything about him yet. Still nothing from either side. I don't think. I haven't seen anything from the Maple Leaf side of things either. But warm-ups will be not too long away now. I think 15 minutes or so. So I will confirm it then. I'll pop that screenshot up again in a bit when we fully see what's going on here and what everything is happening. But as of right now, no Matthews from my knowledge at least. But that could change. But other than that, yeah, it's going to be, you know, I'll say it again. I will say it. I've said it about like 2 or 3 times this stream. But I really want the Bruins to put everybody in their lineup here that they have over the past few games that has worked, especially with Matthews out of the lineup, because he's been, I would say, the third best player behind, now this is going to sound crazy, Max Domi and Tyler Bertuzzi. You never say they're the 2 best players on this team, but they have been. And Matthews had that really nice goal. We got to give him credit where credit's due, but he's their spotlight. So if they can't get the puck to him, with what we've seen, they seem lost, really. So I don't know. Agree on GD. I think what makes him stand out in front of other players is that when he's not producing offensively, he still plays great, responsible two-way player. You really see him fully. Yeah. Now Jake DeBrusk, like, he's a player that will make up for his mistakes on that same shift. We've seen it before. Like, he's a dog. That's really the best way to describe him, is that he will go until he can't anymore. Like, when the whole team's playing bad, Jake DeBrusk is there to, you know, step up this lineup, try and boost the energy on the lineup, and that's one thing that really is good about this Bruins team, where they have a lot of young players now. The old guys like, you know, Bergeron, Krejci, Chara, none of those guys are there to really, you know, I guess, make a step up. Marchand is still there, but, you know, you need more people to step up. And when all those guys were there, they were always kind of that veteran core, so they don't have that anymore. So Jake DeBrusk doing that really just shows his commitment to the team, even when they're not playing great and whatnot. But I think he should resign. You know, that's really what I'm trying to say here. I do think that he'd be a great option. Stay with the winning lineup, absolutely. You know, you can't go away from that in my mind. If you're completely in the head of the Bruins, or the Maple Leafs, and you've won the past 3 games, and everything is going right into your plan, and everything's working out, I don't see why you change that when you have one more game to win to eliminate the Maple Leafs, and then have a break until you play the team that eliminated you last year, and trying to learn a bit more from what they've been doing this season. And to me, it just makes sense to try and eliminate them here tonight. You know, it's... yeah, you really need to just eliminate them. That's really my mindset here and what I think should happen. Leafs fans are saying, well, the Bruins almost blew it once, killer attitude tonight. I've seen that as well, Alex. I've seen a lot of that they're like, 3-1, you know, remember what happens, but they have no right to say anything either, so I'm not too worried about that. You know, the Maple Leafs definitely are victim to that one at some points as well, so I'm not gonna worry too much about those remarks. Come on, Bruins from the UK. That is sick, Tyler. Let's go. We need a big win tonight. That's going to be a late game for you. That's going to be a really late game, but this is going to be a very good one. Jake is Mr. April, aka Ray Jackson baseball, but yeah, oh, absolutely. You know, Jake DeBrusk is that playoff guy for this team. Everybody got the playoff guy, you know, Danny Briere, Arturi Lehkonen this season for the Colorado Avalanche, great playoff player. And I really think that Jake DeBrusk is that guy for the Maple Leafs. Or, the Bruins, sorry. The Bruins. And will continue to be, hopefully for a long time. How's it going, Uncle H? Good evening, good evening. Sway a lock to start versus Florida if we win. Now, what I think that will turn out to be, I think he might play game 1. And then they'll go back to the rotation. Just because we don't really know... Well, I don't know right now. I'm sure there's statistics I could look up and try and do it, but I'll need to actually try it out. And I may put that in a video. If they do win, I'll work that out. But I think they're going to go for the rotation unless someone has a much better statistic side of things, as Swayman did for the Maple Leafs against the Panthers. And I really think that's what it's going to be. Or I might go rotation. I like the rotation idea versus Florida. Yeah, that trade for DeBrusk and Ullmark to LA, that would have been bad for these playoffs. Now, I'm sure it would have helped the return, but I think DeBrusk is just too important. Ullmark wants to stay, and I think the rotation is the best thing the Bruins can do here for the playoffs right now. Watch out, Reeves might get a hat trick. You never know. Anything can happen. Well, actually, I don't know if I've seen crazier things, but there definitely could be crazier things happening, so that's what I just want to get out of this series for, I feel like the Maple Leafs can just pull off something weird and then come back, tie a series, or win this game by some odd thing happening. I don't know, like Joel Edmondson getting 2 goals or something. Something along the lines of that, I feel like is too high of a risk to happen. I just want to get this series over with, to be honest with you. 1 a.m. in Czechia. Wow. Okay, yeah, a lot of people here got some late games. Czechia, another crazy one. That's kind of cool. We got viewers from there. Leafs have been roundly criticized by the Maple Leafs or the Toronto press for being soft. They're desperate, got to match. They do, but I think if they go too physical, they're gonna fall into the Bruins game. They're gonna fall into that Bruins trap, as what we've seen in game 1 and 2. Not so much 2 when the Maple Leafs won, but game 1 especially, where we see Domi take those penalties. He's falling into the mind games from Brad Marchand and the rest of this team, and we've just seen that not work so much for the Maple Leafs. But I do think that this could still end up getting a very chippy physical game, being a chippy physical game for both sides of this. And I don't want to get too much into that, especially with this only being the first round and being up 3-1. That's really what scares me here. Ullmark has a better record with Florida. Then I think the rotation is a safe thing then. I really think that Swayman, actually, I guess it depends on who starts here tonight. We know, we don't know anything about who starts tonight. I would say Ullmark. I have no confirmation on that though, and I don't think I do here either. No. Okay, I don't have no updates just yet on the lineup, but I'm going to say it's going to be Ullmark here tonight, would be my guess. Then they may go Swayman game 1 versus Florida, if this is a win tonight, and then go back to the rotation and just see who gets the hot hand once again. I think that's probably the smartest thing to do here in this series. Charlie Coyle scoring tonight? I hope so. I mean, I'd like to see it. That's one thing about this Bruins playoff lineup that I've really enjoyed lately, is that it hasn't been one player or 2 players just holding this team together. Marchand has been really excelling here in these playoffs, but there's been so many people that have 4 or 5 points, 1 point per game here in the playoffs, and it's just showing that it's a whole lineup working together rather than just a few players, like what the Leafs were trying to do. So I think that's a safe bet. I'm willing to say Charlie Coyle will get a goal tonight. Just wish Lucic was playing tonight. Yeah, the Lucic situation, it's a tough one. He would really, really suit this lineup here, especially against the Maple Leafs, but I do completely understand why he's not back on this lineup and anything, and I won't get into it, but it does make sense at the end of the day why the Bruins didn't bring him back for this season. Ullmark would be nice. He would. Ullmark is... I think it's a safe bet. You don't want to get him too cold either. I think there's a good opportunity to do it. We know he can win, especially what we've seen in Game 2. He was the best player. If the team was on, that would have been a sweep. That would have been 4 games in a row for the Bruins, and then we would have been out of this series. But I think he should start. I don't want to get too cold, but Swayman too. He's just been too good, and really, I think that's almost a guarantee to get out of that series in that case. Got to play Game 5. I don't think there's a Maple Leaf Lace in their skates plan to lose. Bruins need to get full throttle and keep it up. They do. The Maple Leafs are not going to come out here and lose. That's one thing that this team will not do, and we have to know that the Maple Leafs aren't just going to come out here, accept a loss, go home, go play golf, whatever. Like, they want to fight. They know the history this team has. They know how flamed they're going to get by their own fans, by the media, if they do lose this series, as well as Bruins fans, and that's rightfully so for us. But it's going to be a tough game, regardless. I think this is going to be the best game that we've seen the Maple Leafs play all series. If I were to guess, that would be the case. Leafs trying to be physical is like when you get your first time to get in an argument with your father. Yeah, no, that's very true. That is very true, edited. That's exactly what they do. Even though the Bruins don't have too many physical players now, it's in the roots of this team. It's in the roots of the Bruins organization. So if you're playing for a Bruins team, you know that you're going to be a physical player at some point in your career for a certain amount of games, certain situations, and that's what we're seeing here. That's exactly what we're seeing here for this Bruins team. Everybody being physical, they're coming out flying out of the gate, and that's exactly what we want to see. We got Maroon. Maroon's a good enough replacement for Lucic right now. I don't think Maroon would be on this lineup if Lucic were here. So it's just a nice 1-for-1 replacement, I guess. Marner's gone and maybe mentally gone already. Marner is a tough situation as well. I do think he's gone after this playoff series. I don't see a world where the Maple Leafs keep him, to be honest with you. I really, really don't. And I'll pull this tweet up of statistics here. I said this earlier too. He's a Maple or a Toronto Breakfast Television or something now. He said, I can name 10 people he's both on and off the ice that should be not with the Maple Leafs next season. And then he goes on to talk about Sheldon Keefe, but a lot of replies to this, a lot of other tweets regarding this kind of same scenario were Mitch Marner, and it's a weird situation because he's been one of the better players for this team. Now, I know he, on the score sheet he has, but on ice he's very, very streaky this series. He hasn't been the best. He really just seems off his game, and I think that it's going to be just a really tough one. Leafs are all professional hockey players with pride. Don't count the chickens. You're right. It's going to be a tough game. These guys, especially the older players on this team, know that this is a certain scenario where you need to strap in, play your game, not think about getting eliminated, and just go and play your best hockey, because that's going to be what they need to do. That's just simply, they need to keep it simple if they do want to win here. So they know that that's going to be a tough game, but the Bruins know that as well, which is why I'm hoping this game is going to be a good one. Bruins in 6, let's hope so. Bruins in 5. I'll go Bruins in 5. I hope it is. As quick as the series is over, as happier I am. The more rest we get, figure out the Panthers a bit more, trying to figure out what we can do to beat them. But I understand the break that people worry about as well between series. So either way, as long as it's Bruins in 5, 6, or 7, 7 might be a bit of a scary situation for us, but 7 will do as well. I don't care. I think Wall will save the game for the Leafs. Dave, that's one thing I've thought about as well, is Joseph Wall. That's one thing that really has scared me this game. Mainly because even though he has, and it will be down here too, on the base bar, the box score, you'll see Wall, but he's only 5 shots. But he's been a goalie that has been tough after injury, but he has a very, very high chance of being a great goalie, which is one thing that scares me. The Panthers will have breath too. Yeah, they've already won their series, so they're getting ready now. I'm sure they'll be watching this game tonight attentively and going as soon as they figure something out. They're going to be working on that in practice, and that's one thing that I want the Bruins to get that little bit of break for, is just to be able to do the same for the Panthers here. Never again want to see a home Game 7, Game 7s are fun from an outside fan standpoint. If you're looking at, just two teams that you don't really care about, perfect. But when it's one of your teams, no, that's too much for me. That's too much panic. That's one thing that gonna be tough. If it does come down to a Game 7, oh my, is it ever gonna be a nerve-wracking game? And live streams. I'll be live beforehand, so. Did I miss it? Was Matthews? Matthews was at morning skate, Alex. He was at morning skate only for a few minutes, however. And then he did leave the ice and is still not confirmed for tonight's game. This is what the Ty Anderson said about the Bruins, and what Montgomery said is that Bruins are game planning if Austin Matthews is going to play. So, don't matter for if he is or not, the Bruins are still game planning for it. But from what we've seen, it's all signs point to no. Swayman leads the team up to the ice. So, Jeremy Swayman is starting this game. Very, very good. I do apologize if I just froze again. I needed to pull this screenshot. Wrong screenshot. My apologies. Hold on. Here we go. Big things here. No Matthews and Swayman versus Wall. Okay. This is what we had been... I'll say this is what I have been hoping for. Need to worry about... need to win tonight. Worry about the goaltending swap win later. Win now. You're right. That's exactly what they need to do. This is what the Bruins needed to do. Focus on the now. Worry about the goaltending rotation later. Just go stick to your game with seeing what they're doing here. Swayman staying in. This is what I wanted to see. If this is the case, then they win here. I'll mark Game 1 Panthers. That's my guess. But once again, that's going to be for a later date. This is what we know now. This is very, very big. This right here. This is one thing that's going to be good. Treat tonight like a Game 7, lose tonight, it starts getting scary, put them away. Exactly. That's what I want this team to focus on. Game 7's bad for my blood pressure. I can't blame you. That's going to be a tough situation. Let's hope it don't get there. Let's hope it sticks out here tonight, and then it's over. And then we'll move on to the next series, refocus on everything, relearn everything, and then go back to what their game has been for this series. What makes you think the Leafs will win this game? I don't want to say they will win this game, but I think that they're going to come out harder than they have all series. They acknowledge that this is going to be their last potential game for the season. No Matthews means that everybody's going to have to step up, and it's just going to be a tough one. I don't think they're going to win, but I don't want to say the Bruins are going to win. I still want the Bruins to win, but I don't want to make any predictions yet, just in case. I don't want to jinx anything. Rangers fan would love to see in the Eastern Conference Finals. That would be a very, very good matchup. Historical matchup, very good matchup, though. However, I don't know if I'd want to see that because the Rangers are really, really good. That's one thing that I don't know if I want to play the Rangers in the Eastern Conference Final. I mean, if it gets to it, I'll be happy for the matchup. But the Rangers are just really good, and they're one team that scares me. From what I've seen in this first round, they're an incredible team. They are an incredible team, a very scary team, and can definitely do some crazy things in a series against another phenomenal team. Domi and Nylander will dominate the Bruins tonight, Leafs in 7. Domi and Nylander, two guys that, Domi, I should say, been very, very good this playoff series. Surprisingly good. I don't think his role was supposed to be that, but very good. And Nylander is going to be due for a hot game, and I think that could be tonight. This is what I'm fearing, but it's going to be a good game regardless, both sides, I think. I think it's going to be the toughest game of the season, the series, and physically and offensively, it's going to be just a very good matchup, and I'm expecting that both teams are going to come out firing. A Ritual 6 rivalry? It would be. Rangers power play is incredible, their ability to score shorthanded. That's what, their special teams, their even strength, everything about that team is just so good. They work in unison. Everything is just down to the perfect situation for that team. Goaltending is great. They don't have a surface level weakness, which normal people just watching will see, but that's one thing that scares me. Bruins or Rangers from the East, Stars or Avalanche from the West. Stars is interesting. The Stars are interesting. Avalanche, I can definitely see. Avalanche against Winnipeg, man, that's a scary series. For Winnipeg, but Colorado's been really, really good. I can see Colorado coming out of that, out of the West is going to be one. That is going to be a tough matchup no matter who they play. Rempe is a huge problem. Yeah, he is terrifying. That guy is crazy. He's sick. He's a cool player. I bring him back to the old school game, but I would not want to have any of our players step in front of him, to be honest with you. Bruins got to come out fast, hit hard, play 60. If they do, they'll win the game tonight. If that's what they've been doing all series, and if they continue that, they deserve the win. You know, the Maple Leafs really haven't actually deserved a win yet. Game 2, I guess you'd say, Game 2 was their best game by far, and the Bruins just played bad. So in that way, they did, but they need to come out really, really quick here, really hot. And like I always say, you want to get the first goal. You want to get the first goal to be able to take control of that game. Shesterkin versus Swayman, Ullmark, IDK, who has the edge here? I'm going to say Swayman and Ullmark, solely because there's two of them, you know? And the Shesterkin is still such a good goalie, too. He's a really, really good goalie. He's very solid. We've seen that from him, but the only thing is, like, if the Rangers go, like, a bunch of Game 7s, I think that Swayman and Ullmark, where they can split, and where they can, you know, both go a long time, I think that would be the advantage. Exactly. The Avalanche are just picking Hellebuck apart, which is crazy to watch. You know, it's really, really crazy. ESPN app says Matthews is out for sure. Well, that is very big. Okay, so that's good. No warm-ups? Yeah, there's no way he wouldn't come out for warm-ups. We have our lineups, ladies and gentlemen. I will post these. I will freeze again here. Just give me one moment. Okay. We have our lineups. Let's read this one here. Marchand, Coyle, Geeky, DeBrusk, Zacha, Pastrnak, Van Riemsdyk, Frederic, and Heinen. Maroon, Boqvist, and Brazeau. Justin Brazeau is back, ladies and gentlemen. I can't remember who said it earlier. Jonathan, if you're still here, I think it was you. I think it was you, Jonathan. Justin Brazeau is in tonight. If you're listening but not watching, Justin Brazeau is back in fourth line. There you go, Jonathan. Perfect timing. He is here. He's back in the lineup. A very, very good one. Uncle H, I've enjoyed the Oilers' journey this season. They've been really good, too. That's one thing that is going to be... I'd like to see an Oilers Avalanche matchup. That'd be really good. The size of the fourth line is wild. That is true. Brazeau and Maroon, that's one lineup one line, I should say, I really wanted to see. I think Brazeau really has a fire under him, and this is going to be a really good game for him. Grzelcyk is in as well. Yeah, okay, so... Forbort, Grzelcyk is in instead of Shattenkirk as well. I think that's a tough line. That's a tough third line. Now, Wotherspoon, I really like Wotherspoon. I think that'll be fine. But, it's going to be interesting. Do you think the Bruins intentionally tanked the last two games to face the Leafs? I don't want to say they did, but it sure seems like it. You know, I think that the Maple Leafs were definitely the better first-round matchup for them, especially with Jeremy Swayman being as hot as he was even before this series. In the regular season, he was really good against them. I think that kind of added to their thought process of wanting to play the Leafs better, being able to get more time before they play the Panthers, if that was going to be the case. If that is still going to be the case, that'll be a good one. Yeah, well, I think that either the Oilers and Avalanche series would go, like, 7-6, 8-6 games, or there'd be no goals, because their offense would just completely, you know, clash against each other. It'd be pretty cool to see. Yeah, the Lightning weren't great in round one. I will say that, and that's very, you know, different for them. They're not used to being a bad team, but the Panthers did look very good as well. That's one thing that I gotta say. I gotta give them credit for it. They looked excellent. You must want to... I don't know. This is not gonna be... I don't hate this. You know, even if Wotherspoon and Grzelcyk still gonna be a line, they can still change that. And also, I don't think that line will be getting too much ice time. Florida series would scare me too. You know, a Florida series, that's always going to be, now especially after what happened last season, it's going to be a bit of a scary one. But either way, the Bruins have the capabilities of winning that game, and I'm very excited to see what the difference would be if that matchup does end up playing out. No, Beecher will hurt big time. No idea behind and is over him. Beecher is one that I wish would have stayed in. You know, that's a player who's been very good. Very, very good as of late as well. In his rookie season, excuse me, everything about him has really shown a lot to this team, and he deserved to be in the lineup, but I do understand making a few changes here, especially Brazeau. I liked his game going out. The injury sucked, but I still think he's good. They're not past Leafs yet. No, absolutely not. This series is not over yet. This series won't be over until we see the Bruins winning at the end of whatever game they win in these next 3 games, if any. That's one thing that they have to acknowledge, that the series is not over yet, even though that the Maple Leafs aren't being the actual Maple Leafs we know. This is still a lot of work to be put into this series till it's over. Who do you think will be favoring the Bruins-Panthers matchup? Panthers would have home ice because they went above the Bruins the last 2 games of the season when the Bruins moved down 2 to play the Maple Leafs. So they would have home ice. And to answer your question about that, I have to say the Panthers. We've seen the Maple Leafs be favored in this series, I believe, 1 or 2 games. Now, very, very slimly, but still, they were favored. We've seen what happens, so anything can happen. I don't really care about the odds too much, unless it's like a major spread. Unless like a plus 600-700, then something's off about that. But heavy and nasty third and fourth lines win majority of playoff series. That's one thing I like. Van Riemsdyk, last game, didn't hate his game. I really didn't. Trent Frederic has been, I will say, a surprise to me. He's been very, very good in this playoff series. Heinen, been good all season. Still deserves to crack this lineup. I still think Beecher would have been a good spot there. Maroon, Boqvist, and Brazeau, I think that's just a perfect playoff fourth line. So I'm okay with that. And I think that this is going to be still this is a normal game that the Bruins have played, but still just a few changes. Probably a bit more physical, a bit slower on the third and fourth line, but still will work out well. Minus 120 Panthers, plus 100 Bruins, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm okay with that. That's pretty much what I would say as well. A very slim margin, but I think the Panthers would be favored. I don't want to say too early, Steve, that the Leafs don't have a chance, but Matthews out is definitely a tough one for them. Tampa and Panthers series had over 450 hits. Bruins can't be wow. And now, granted, the Bruins have had a lot of physicality this series as well. However, it is against the Maple Leafs, and they're not a physical team, so I guess that advantage does sway a bit favored to the Bruins because they are the bigger team, but still, nonetheless, it's scary stat there, I guess you could say. They're a big team. They are a really, really big team, the Panthers are, so you can't disregard them either. Awesome, Matthew's taking that. He is, yeah. That's a big loss for the Bruins, too, and I will post that one as well. I'll put that one up here again. Swayman versus Wall, and no Matthews, which is really what we were hoping for. He's been their goal scorer. He's their main guy, but that also means that a lot of other eyes are going to be on a lot of other players for the Maple Leafs to go out there and try and get a goal. So a lot more, non-usual players are going to have to be covered. So that's one thing that I think the Bruins are going to have to take advantage of as well and work with that at that point. Panthers aren't Sharman soft like Leafs. Absolutely. Panthers are a rough team. Like, not bad, not like rough like in a bad team, but they don't mind throwing the body at all. And that's one thing that is going to win them games. Exactly what we've seen in every other series here, especially even this one. The Bruins have had that physicality, matched the Bruins' physicality, and even gone up and above on that. Exactly, Ace. If the Bruins lose tonight, there's a chance Matthew would play in the later games. So you have to take advantage. And that's true, because we know Matthews can end a series, although it hasn't been historically known, but his skill alone has shown that he can do that. The playoffs for that team is not ideal, but they're a dangerous team nonetheless. But yeah, it's going to be a pretty important game here. This is going to be a really important one. I think this is going to be the most important one for this series. I will pull up the Maple Leafs lines here as well for you guys, just to have a look and see what you guys think about those. Because I know we've been talking about the Bruins here, but we haven't really been talking about the Maple Leafs regarding there. So Bertuzzi, Domi, and Marner, that's what we've seen in morning practice. Nice Tavares, Nylander. Two very good lines there. Domi, Bertuzzi, and Marner, I think is going to be a tough one. Bertuzzi and Domi been very good this series, and Marner, I think those will be the guys that will light Marner up to get him back into the Marner that we know, I guess you could say. I don't know. So we don't really know what Marlon Matthews, a lingering illness, whatever that might mean, for the Maple Leafs doctors, and they're not going to tell us. They don't tell us much, anyways. They're pretty quiet on that front. But either way, it got to be enough to keep him out, I guess, which is interesting. Interesting what it could be. Ace, I'm not going to do it here in this game. I don't think I might do it in either the next series or a later game this series. This is only the third stream, so I haven't really figured it all out yet. I've been playing around with it, testing it out, but that is the plan later on at some point, as long as the Bruins continue to play here in these playoffs. Bertuzzi and Marchand fight night. That's one thing. I don't want Marchand to fight. I want him to keep drawing penalties, but Marchand's been one of our better players. I don't want to see him not on the ice. I think that's a tough spot for the Bruins if he's in the box. That's really where we don't want to be. Curious to see if Marner plays with the dress tonight. Yeah, and Marner's been a tough. He's been arguing on the bench and everything, and that's really making this team lose, to be honest with you. That's a big part of it. Matthews had food poisoning. Okay, well then that does make sense, but still, there's a bathroom in the locker room, and the locker room's not too far away from the bench, so, realistically, if he gotta go, he can go. So, I mean, he should be able to play. I know I've never had food poisoning, so I can't say how bad it is, but I don't know. I think that would be something you could play through. I hope your channel blows up. You could be the Steve Dangle for the Bruins. I mean, that would be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool if it would blow up like that. Steve, that's what I like. I like Steve as well. He calls a spade a spade. He don't mind chirping the Maple Leafs when they do something wrong, which is what I really respect in him. A lot of Maple Leafs fans are just too focused on this team's historical value, the skill level of their core 4, core 5, whatever you want to call them. But Steve don't mind calling spade a spade. He don't mind saying that the Maple Leafs suck. Yeah, no, yeah, he goes nuts when they lose. It's funny. He seems like a really good guy though, and he's good for the Maple Leafs. He's really good for Maple Leafs fans. They need to be more like Steve. That's one thing that I agree with. A Caleb Williams jab. Yeah, that was a weird one. I don't really know why he painted his nails for the draft, but not my question to answer. I have a tweet here from Scott McLaughlin discussing Johnny Beecher. I'm gonna pull this up and just see what you guys think about this. Kind of interesting. It says, interesting move for sure. Beecher struggled last game, including faceoffs, but overall has been good on the faceoffs and penalty kills so far this series. Montgomery wants more offensive zone possession inside ice, but according to natural stats, Beecher has the most high danger chances of any Bruin this series. So, it could be just a matter of taking him out for this lineup, seeing what else works, but either way, I could see him being back in next game. Uncle H, there's no promises, During that watch along that I did, it's not gonna be today, but during the watch along, you don't know what I'll do. I might be sitting in the corner having to watch the game, but no, I'm just joking. We'll see. We'll see though. Depends on what happens, I guess. Food poisoning for 4 days. Come on, Austin, a little bit. Yeah, I don't know about that. I really don't know about a 4-day food poisoning. That's seems a bit crazy to me. I know it lasts, but I still don't know the extent of what would happen. It's just Steve takes it well. Steve Dangle does take it well. I mean, you almost have to as a Bruins fan. There's too many good opportunities for jokes, so I think it comes with the job. It comes with the job. I did not see that. I did not see when Steve Dangle and Marchand was chirping each other. I'm gonna have to check that out after the stream. Cause I would put it up here, but I don't know if I can show it where it's there. This like stays up afterwards. But that'd that don't surprise me at all though. Seems like the Marchand type of thing to do. What's all the stuff going on with tacos? Why is everybody saying tacos in the chat? Is that what Matthews ate or something? I'm seeing like bad tacos, bad. I just clocked that. Okay, whatever. Someone let me know. Okay. What line do I think starts? I'll pull up the Bruins lines again just to show you. Or I don't know where they're to. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. Okay. I can see either of the top two starting. I think it could be, well, for a reason. Well, I think it also depends on who starts for the Maple Leafs. That's one thing as well. I think is going to matter. Depends if we see their first line out, which is Domi, Bertuzzi, and Marner. I can see that Marchand, Coyle, and Geeky line. I think they're going to try to do is pair Domi with Marchand, pair Bertuzzi with Marchand. Those two have been really trying to get under Marchand's skin and trying to take him out of the game, but it hasn't been working. So my guess is they're going to pair the first lines, second line for any other line that they start, realistically. 4 guys making $11 million. Yeah, that's one thing that I think is a big part for them too. Their top 4 or 5 guys are making too much money. Taco Tuesday, yeah, no, he was hitting Taco Tuesday earlier today. That's why. Yeah, Matthews was he was eating too many tacos. Wasn't feeling good. Well, he was feeling good this morning, but then he was starting to eat tacos, and then didn't feel good after. That's not a reliable source either. That's just my opinion. So, but we never could be. You never know. Never know. Dangle's so much fun. Just found him. Nothing better to watch. Yeah, no, him after a Maple Leafs loss, it's a good time, especially against Montreal or Boston, one of the rivals. It's pretty fun to watch. Just watch pregame interview with Maroon. He seems very wise and hockey smart. Must be a great asset dressing room. That's exactly what Montgomery said when he played his first game of the playoffs. That his presence is more than just being on the bench, more than just being on the ice, more than just being in the locker room. It's just all of that combined into being the veteran that they need, the big physical guy. It's really more than just hockey for him, for Maroon, for this team, I should say. The fact that Marchand 0 penalties is wild. I didn't even think about that. Does he have 0 penalties? That's crazy. I mean, that's what Marchand's good at, though. All the same, let's not forget that. That's what Marchand's good at. So, that's one thing that is going to be pretty funny to see. I'd swap Geeky and Heinen personally, but Brazzers is back as STW. Exactly. I think what they're going to do is just kind of stick with that now. If they see something that can change mid-game, that's what they're going to run with. Either way, though, I'm okay with what they have here tonight. As long as it was really Brazeau in, and if he was healthy, and Swayman starting, I was okay with it. I didn't really want to see Forward in, which we didn't, but that could change at a later date right now. But just being out too long, I think, is a bit too much of a worry for me here for this game. You don't think they would put their fourth line and tenderize them a little bit or more later in the game? I think that we will see the fourth line up a good bit this game. That's one thing that I think they're going to do. They're probably going to get a bit more ice time than normal, just because of their size, but it's also not a bad line. I don't hate that line, so it's still a solid one. But I think the top two will be the main focus on this game. I think they're not going to go out and try and draw too many penalties or nothing. I think they're just going to go out, play their game, and try and get that win and take control of this game as quick as possible. Matthews hasn't been right since last sleep. Jeez. Oh, man. You guys are crazy. Keith postgame was saying about how Marchand was basically saying how he gets all the... Yeah, like... Keith is not a good coach. He's not. He's really, really not. And he's putting too much blame on Marchand, the Bruins, rather than his own team and himself. That's really what he's bad at. Freeman says Matthews being out isn't only about the sickness. Ooh, interesting. I am not from Boston. I'm from Newfoundland in Canada. Not too far away from Boston, though. Heinen out? Is that the roster sheet? Oh, the roster sheet from the NHL media site has Beecher out. The Bruins lineup sheet distributed to the media has Heinen out. Interesting. It is game time. The stream will be over here in a minute, but I wanted to show you guys this because this could be a big thing. If Beecher is not suited up and Heinen is not on the sheet, then we won't have a player. We'll be down a forward. I think Brad has a cabin here somewhere, I'm pretty sure. He's not from here, but he's from somewhere in Nova Scotia. So it's not too far, but I think he has a cabin here somewhere. I could be wrong, though. Something else at play, but being playoffs, we probably won't know until after. Yeah, that's interesting, David. I will have to look at that, too. Steve Dangle said Montgomery is the best. He's one of them, if not the best. He is really one of them. He's shown that he's been capable of winning, but I will pull this up before I go here, before I tune into the game. Will you do a post-game stream? I probably will. I'll probably do a post-game stream if they win or lose. I was going to do a video, but I think a stream will be a good situation if they win, too. Even if they lose, because this is going to be a pretty important game, a knockout game, so stay tuned, because I think that could be pretty good instead of a video. But, yeah, so, stay tuned. There's a good chance I will, but interesting thing here, right here. But, yeah. This is going to be a good game. I will be calling it quits right here. I'll still run a few more minutes because the game don't really start exactly at the time. Thank you, Ace. I appreciate that. And yeah, like I said, guys, if you haven't hit the sub button, 81% of you guys aren't subscribed. We're going to be posting a lot of Bruins news here. A lot of nerve-wracking stuff, streams, everything, as the series and this playoff series goes on. So you're going to want to make sure to stay up to date. Lots of streams going to be coming down the line, but it's going to be a good time. You're from Newfoundland, where's your accent? I try to suppress it a bit when I'm doing videos and streams, just because I'm afraid people won't understand me. But, yeah. All hands, absolutely, all hands. I want to see a win here. I really do want to see a win. If we get a win here, we are in good shape. And then we'll be moving. We'll be moving forward. But, yeah, other than that, I think I'm going to call it quits here. The game is 8:30 my time now, so the game will be on in a few minutes. But yeah, make sure to whether it's going to be a video or a live stream. If it is live stream, make sure to tune in. It's going to be a very, very good one if that is the case. Hopefully it's a win. It'll be a good one. If it's a loss, maybe a bit sad, but we move. We got to lock in. I'm nervous, but I'm excited, Christine. I'm nervous, but I'm excited because this is going to be a great opportunity here for the Bruins. So, like I said, I'm going to call it quits here. I'm not likely. I will be back with either a video or a stream after the game, and all depending on what happens. But I do appreciate all you guys here in the stream. It was a very, very fun time again. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's what we want to see. But yeah, like I said, guys, I do appreciate all of you guys here. From Canada, the first 10 seconds when you said a boot, yeah. Jeez. I don't think I sound too much like that, but yeah, it's not a great accent when I put it full on, but yeah, I do appreciate all you guys. Like I said, I gotta call it quits because I gotta go turn on the game, but make sure to tune in, whether it's a video or a stream afterwards. I'll be back here. Discussing what we've seen, what we noticed in this game, depending on if a win or a loss. Still, going to be a great game regardless. So, I will see you guys in a bit. Make sure to watch the game. Make sure to lock it in. All hands on deck. We need everybody here for this game to get this win. So, I do appreciate all you guys. Thank you for watching. See you later.